people in the party didn't appreciate that. I didn't have a problem with the relationship. Well, I mean, I wanted it to improve. I didn't leave her. She broke up with me.
Oh, bitch.
And in politics, it's difficult because, a lot of people do you wrong. This is a world with sharp elbows, right? So I was health minister during the pandemic. I couldn't perform as a minister in the way that I wanted to. Oh, there is
Russian roulette with me, man. I want to do these.
There is a kick at the end.
Welcome to the show where the conversation gets even spicier than the sambal. My name is Arif.
Yeah, wow, your accent changed so much there. Yes, my name is Ryan.
And this is Nasi Lemak
Date.
Season
2. We need to practice that a bit more. Before we start though, I've got a question for you. Do you like roti canai?
Oh yeah, I do actually.
Well, you should try a dabi, frozen roti canai and paratha with curry chicken.
Chicken curry.
Chicken curry, curry chicken. Terbalik also can, right?
Okay.
I think it's okay.
Anyways, we have a very special guest with us today in the studio. This is a man who wears many hats. He's a politician, a radio host, he's in a podcast, and so many more. He's none other than the infamous or very famous KJ or Khairy Jamaluddin.
Woo! Nice!
I can see KJ's face like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's like, what have I got myself in for, right?
Many hats, but not a Nigerian prince.
That's me.
Can you do an accent though?
Let us see later.
So, KJ, how this is going to work today is, as you can see, we've got a nasi lemak in front of us and 6 colourful looking sambals.
Yeah.
So, as the conversation goes on, we'll move from your right to your left with not spicy sambal to very spicy sambal at the end.
Yeah.
Your spice tolerance, how?
My spice tolerance is extremely high.
Ooh.
I come from the state of Negeri Sembilan, and we are famous for chili api.
Shall we try our first sambal, the brown one on the end? This one, I actually say this is like white people level of spice.
White level.
White level, yeah, for me. How is it? Do you like it?
This one's okay.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, wait, later. I know you're keen.
Oh, okay.
I know you're keen to try.
Anyways, KJ, let's talk about you.
Mm.
Have you always wanted to be a politician, or is it something that maybe your parents or maybe your relatives or cousins pushed you into?
I think I was 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, that young, really?
Yeah. So I grew up all over the world. My dad was in the foreign service.
Oh.
Because he was in the foreign service, he dealt with all sorts of, important stuff going on in the world, and that sort of rubbed off onto me. And I remember from very early on, if it wasn't becoming a footballer, I wanted to go into politics or something to do with government. Yeah.
Was he based in other countries around the world outside Malaysia?
So I was born in the Middle East.
Oh wow!
In Kuwait. Yeah. After that, we moved to India. So we lived in New Delhi for a while. And then we came back for a couple of years. Lived in Kuching. So he took up a job back here for a couple of years. Then we went to Japan. That was where I was the longest as a child, for 5 years.
Oh wow!
And then we moved to London. And then I went to boarding school in Singapore. And then I went back to the UK for university.
But the longest was in Japan.
The longest,
but you remember
one stretch, yeah. That was when between I was the age of 5 and 10.
Did you pick up the language at all?
Yeah.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
どういたしまして.
You wanted to get into politics as a kid, but when did you officially class yourself as, I'm now a politician?
Yeah, so I would say that would be probably 2008 when I ran for my first election.
Right.
That was the general election in 2008.
Since 2008, what was like the toughest criticism you got? Was it actually internally from the party? Or was it from outside?
I think both, yeah. It's
really?
a great question, Ryan. I mean, inside you get a lot of criticism because they want you to, of course, sometimes toe the party line. Sometimes you have views of your own. Sometimes that gets you into trouble. And then from the outside, of course, when you end up with a position in government. So I've served in government a few times. I was sports minister, then I was science minister, then last I was health minister. Obviously, then the criticism from the outside is massive,
of course,
because everyone has something to say about your performance. And I think I fortunately or unfortunately had at least 2 ministries which a lot of people had a lot of things to say about, which was the sports ministry and the health ministry.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where I received a lot of feedback, and not all of it, of course, it was good.
Yeah.
You just have to roll with it, right?
And some more the timing of the health minister's thing.
Speaking of roll with it, shall we go with sambal number 2?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Was it?
No, quite flavourful actually. It's quite a nice flavour.
And not
sweet.
as spicy.
No.
It's sweet.
Oh wow. Thank God.
Oh, there is
Russian roulette with me, man. I want to do these.
a kick at the end. My spice tolerance is extremely high.
Oh, don't say that.
There's a kick at the end.
Okay, are you planning to go back into politics?
Oh, yeah, so I've been out for 3 years. Politics has always been my calling, and so recently I've reapplied to join my old party because I want to get active again in politics.
When you came away from politics and you started doing a lot of things like in media, right? So the radio, the podcast. I even saw you the other day doing a cooking thing with Anis Nabila as well. Like, you're very out there on social media. Is that just because you wanted to do something totally different from politics, or is it part of like a bigger plan for you?
I guess it's because as a ex-politician, I have no other skill set other than talking. So,
So you're like, radio.
I'm not good at anything else.
Right.
I never intended for it to be a second career. But after we started the podcast and I joined the radio station Hot FM, I felt at home. It wasn't difficult or forced, and I was very comfortable with the work.
I've got more things I want to ask you, like outside of politics, but one thing I do want to ask: what's something you really don't like about it? Now you've had time to get away from it for a while, and you've got the retrospective of being in it before.
Time away from family and people I care about, because it consumes your time a lot.
What do you do actually? Like what's the thing?
I mean, if you are like a minister. Then your weekdays are pretty much running the ministry. So running the health ministry was my last job, and that's a all-consuming job, basically from early in the morning till late at night, dealing with stuff. And on weekends you have to go back to your constituency. So we get voted and become member of parliament for a certain constituency. So on weekends you're either there or you're traveling on the ground, visiting. So if you're health minister, visiting a hospital somewhere, visiting a clinic somewhere. And before you know it, the week's done. And you haven't spent any meaningful time with your kids.
You're doing so much, right? As a health minister, you're doing so much behind the scenes. You're constantly working, but then maybe you'll meet one person who has a very personal issue with something that's happened to them, and they'll blame you for it. And you're like, oh man, I've done all this stuff behind the scenes, but I still get people hating on what I'm doing, right? It's normal. It must rub off on you, right?
So when we were dealing with COVID, so I was health minister during the pandemic. God, it seems like a lifetime ago, right?
I know, right?
But it was very real then. And so every day I would be confronted with statistics. So my officials, including the Director General of Health, then Dr. Nohisham would brief me saying, Minister, today we had 5,000 cases. We had 54 people passing away, and we have X number of people in the ICUs at hospitals. And after a while, I felt numb because those were very abstract numbers. So I couldn't perform as a minister in the way that I wanted to because I was just confronted with numbers and I couldn't humanize the problem that people were facing. So after a while, what I did was every night I would open my email and there was hundreds of emails in the inbox. And normally I'd have an assistant clear most of it. Because it's just impossible to handle that amount, that volume of emails. But I would choose 5 to 10 emails and I would personally address them and reply to them. Because I wanted to make sure that I could attach a name and I could attach a personal story to the pandemic that we were facing. Rather than, of course, having the negative version of that, which is people coming up to me and saying, you're doing a bad job, of actually attaching a name to it in a positive way by looking for these stories on a daily basis to remind myself what the purpose of my job was, which was to get us out of the pandemic. Which we all did. Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Well, with that, sample number 3.
Yeah, let's go. This one's a bit thicker.
Yeah.
Actually, what do you think? The sambal actually not bad, right?
Yeah.
This one is okay.
I still feel this is fine.
So KJ, can you actually, this is like a random question that I just thought of. Can you choose which minister you want to be?
No, so that's chosen for you by the boss, the PM.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the PM, when he names his team, right? So he's like the gaffer, he's going to name his team, usually after the elections. He'll decide on who goes where.
And you can't say like, please, boss.
Well,
sports. I love
so it's not unheard of for people to lobby, but I never did.
Okay.
I just took whatever came my way.
Right.
So there are some people who go to the gaffer, go to the boss and say, put me in finance or put me in one of the big ones. But I didn't really. So my first gig was sports, youth and sports. I was in my 30s then, so I loved it. It was probably the most fun job that I had in government, looking after youth and sports.
And if you weren't, like, let's say if this politics doesn't go through, and if you, let's say you have to do content full time, let's say, what type of content would you focus on?
Would be stuff which was educational,
Oh,
because I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there.
right.
And I think people are craving for genuine educational content, whether it's about what's happening in the world, whether it's about learning new skills. I find that the lifestyle vertical for content creation like this and like what we do as well, that's really competitive right now. You've got you guys, you've got so many other people doing it, that I think focusing on education would be, or something educational. So I run a history podcast as well, which is much lower in terms of virality and subscription than my political podcast. But that gives me a lot of satisfaction.
Could also consider your content like educational, right?
Yeah, but mine is more like roasting.
Yeah, but you
But
educate the world.
It's educating the world. There's more than one way to eat something.
Everyone's united. Everybody hates the Brits. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, our history is not ideal, is it? We didn't have the greatest history. So, with that, we'll move on to our next samba, shall we?
Grab Signature's Village Park original sambal from Jaya Grocer. Yeah. So how's the sambal, guys?
Not challenging me at all. Not challenging. It's good. It's good.
You wait to the last one. You wait to the last one.
But it's not challenging my pedas threshold.
Yeah, you're outside of like the content and politics and all of this. Like, who would you say is your like best friend? Is it who do you turn to for like advice yourself and things like that?
I have a very small circle of friends outside of politics and all that, and some of them I've known since I was 11, 12.
Wow,
boarding
long time.
school, or university. I find that those friends in particular are those that I confide in.
Malaysians or like? all over?
Mostly Malaysians.
Oh, okay.
It's because they knew you before anything.
Right.
I think that's important. They knew you before you were anything.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think one, you feel comfortable in confiding with them, and secondly, they couldn't give a damn who you are, and they just tell you as it is, right? You're nothing special. I remember when, whatever.
You kind of need someone like that to humble you a bit sometimes, right?
I get that sometimes, like my Malay friends who like sometimes if I go out with them and then somebody like, hey Harry, can we take a photo? And then my friend is
They'll
like,
roast you, right?
Oh, benda je. Kau famous sangat ke?
So you need people to remind you of who you are.
So KJ, in your political career, what's the, let's say, the number one unforgettable moment?
Must have so many, right?
Yeah, but maybe choose one,
One was when I was at the sports ministry. We had really good Olympic Games. We've never won a gold medal at the Olympic Games. We still haven't. But that was the best Olympics we ever had. We ended up with 4 silvers and 1 bronze. And we were so close to the gold medal. It was the men's doubles badminton finals. Wee Kyung and Bisham. 2 match points. We had 2 match points. And one of them served it into the net.
God damn it.
Yeah.
It was that close. But even then after that, so that was the high of the Olympics. But a couple of weeks later, we had the Paralympic Games. And 3 of our boys.
You got gold, right?
Yeah, Ziad, Latif and Rizwan won 3 goals, first time ever. I was so happy because before that, the policy was that if you were a Paralympic athlete, you wouldn't get the same amount of money if you won a gold medal compared to a normal athlete. Yeah.
How much is it, by the way?
So if you win a gold medal, it's $1 million, $1 million ringgit.
Oh, damn. For Olympics.
Olympics.
Silver and bronze?
500 and 150, I can't remember. So they would have gotten like 30% of an able-bodied athlete.
Oh, wow.
But before the games, a couple of years before it, I changed the policy so that if a Paralympic athlete won, they'd get the same.
Nice.
I was happy because they ended up millionaires.
Fantastic.
Millionaires. Yeah. So that was one great moment. And the second one was 1st of April 2022. That's when we opened our borders, COVID. And, So I was handling the pandemic, and I didn't know if there was light at the end of the tunnel, right? Nobody knew, and I was worried the vaccines wouldn't work. I was worried that the variant, the virus will mutate into a new variant, and people will still get it, and we could
become X-Men.
Yeah, and we could never ever open up the borders. And on the 1st of April, I decided that's it. We're gonna open. I briefed the boss, the PM then, and he said, okay, go for it. And I remember that night, 31st of March, the stroke of midnight. We opened the border, especially the border in the south, Causeway.
Right.
And I suddenly got on my feed these videos of thousands of Malaysians walking across from Singapore back to JB to see their family after 2 years of not being able to see them. That was special.
Totally change the subject.
Yes.
I've got to go back to what you mentioned earlier on about Man U. Right, you are
Man United.
United. Yeah.
Are Man United fans this touchy normally? Is it like they're all nodding off camera?
Yeah.
When did you start becoming a Manchester United fan? I'll get it eventually. When did you start becoming a fan? Who else?
1983 FA Cup final, Manchester United versus Brighton Hove and Albion.
Why not Brighton? Why didn't you support Brighton?
Come on, they lost.
Because they lost. No. He's a glory hunter. He supports the team that wins, is he?
No, I wasn't glory hunter because apart from winning the FA Cup in 83 and 85, we were not doing well then.
Right.
We were not doing well then. So I ended up supporting United 1983. So I was 7 then because and this is mainly how many people start supporting a team, because my older cousin was supporting United.
Okay.
And he was, he was somebody like an abang to me. He was, my idol. So whoever he supported, I went with. And that's how it started. Yeah, so we're speaking off air just now. You were asking me who my sons support.
Yeah.
Especially my youngest son, Rafe, because he's the hantu bola of my 3 kids, my 3 boys. And it can only ever be United. And I told my sons, I said, there are 3 things that I give you in this life that is it's not for discussion. Okay, 1 is your religion. Muslim, you must be Muslim. Okay, end of discussion. Secondly, your football team, not for discussion. And 3rd, your political party. But I'm a bit flexible about that now. So these 3 things, I have no choice.
I like how political party is the last.
Yeah. Football team is a non-negotiable, right? Yeah.
Non-negotiable. Yeah.
So there's not even a consideration of if it wasn't Manchester United, it might be someone else.
No. It's never crossed my mind. And like most serious football fans, it should never cross your mind. You should stay with your team through thick and thin, which you will, hopefully next year.
Yeah, we'll see that. I don't know how low we'll see. Yeah.
Were there any players that you didn't like, that you feel like he doesn't deserve to be in Man United?
Garnacho.
Yeah. Why?
He's an absolute plonker, man. I mean, he's
such an English word.
He's lazy. He's rude. He rates himself too much. I'm glad we got rid of him. That's the kind of guy you don't need. And Chelsea's found out. He's basically been found out.
Should we move on to our next sambal?
Yeah.
Sambal number...
Sambal number 5.
Grab a signature Village Park. Lagi pedas sambal from Guy Grocer. Yeah.
go.
He's already tucking into it now.
Yeah.
He's like, just get on with it, guys.
Okay.
Actually, this has got a kick.
For me, this is spicy, man.
This got a kick.
This is...
KJ, what was because you were in UMNO, and then you got kicked out, right? So what made you want to go back? It's like, when you broke up with the ex and then you go back.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know what you got until you miss it, right?
That's good. That's a good way to look at it. But I would answer by using the same analogy. I didn't leave her. She broke up with me.
Oh, bitch. Bitch.
Don't say that about my party.
Sorry. Yeah, that was before, right? That was when she was.
So it was. I didn't have a problem with the relationship.
Right.
I didn't have a problem with the party. I wanted it to improve. That's why I was mouthing off. And people in the party didn't appreciate that. So they said,
Are they still there?
Bugger off. Yeah, still there.
Okay.
Oh.
But we've reconciled.
Okay.
After 3 years.
Because Raya, right?
Yeah, because Raya. Yeah, really. I mean, the timing was. And I think that, because I didn't leave, I was kicked out.
Yeah.
I always viewed myself as still part of that, part of that team. Yeah. And I looked around, other teams, other parties approached me, and you have to figure out whether or not you have a fit. There's a fit there, right? I didn't see a fit. And there were some people saying, why don't you start your own thing? But the scene is so crowded right now. There's so many new parties out there. Across.
Do you think you will have more say now if, let's say, you join?
Well, I think they know the kind of person I am.
Right.
But I want to be helpful, obviously, and I think elections have to be called in the next 1.5 years. So, yeah, I mean, I'll learn better to play in a team.
Play with the ball.
But I have my own ideas about how we can improve, how we can be better.
Have you ever heard of it? I heard like, because this is like out of topic.
Okay.
But because Padel has a national team, how would it categorize that it's going to be backed up by the government?
Just like anything else, you have to make sure that you're noticed. You have to make sure that, hey, Mr. Government, we've got X number of people playing. It's growing rapidly. We need a bit of support to organize the national championships or to organize the KL Open or whatever it is. That's how it works. And also, I think Padel and Pickle have applied to be a Sukma Sports.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So there's been criticism, rightly, I think, in the last few years, saying that there's been an overemphasis on football, for instance. It's the number one sports in Malaysia in terms of participation, in terms of support. That's why most sports ministers give a lot of support to football. But there's been a pushback, rightly, from other sports saying that football doesn't really win anything. And even if they do win, it's one medal. It's one medal at the Olympics, it's one medal at the SEA Games. A lot of things happening around the national team right now, unfortunately. So you should give more support, more love to other sports, especially mass participation sports like athletics, swimming, with a lot of young people at school getting involved. And also emerging sports like Padel and Pickle, which are attracting a lot of people.
I think before we move on to the last few questions, let's go on to our final sambal. Big dollop. Big dollop on there. Thanks, man.
Do you like Malaysian food?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I just can't handle spicy food, but I do love it. My favorite is actually Sarawak food.
Oh, look at that.
Kolok mee. My favorite. Kolok mee and Sarawak Laksa as well. They're so good. Sorry, before you go into it, how is it, the sambal? Nothing. Fine. We're like, look, my water is empty, man.
Good.
No need of water or anything?
No.
Okay.
So the debate was about the best laksa, because we have a few laksas here.
A lot, yeah.
So you have 3 main laksas, I guess. 4 main laksas. So you have Laksa Sarawak, you have Laksa Johor, and you have the northern laksas. And you have Laksam, which is from the east coast, I guess. And yeah, my favorite is Laksa Sarawak.
There we go.
Oh, right.
You see?
Any reason?
I think it's because of the noodle. Because Laksa Sarawak is vermicelli. It's like mihun, right?
Thin, right?
So it's thin. I don't like the thick one. So Laksa Johor is actually spaghetti. You use spaghetti.
Yeah.
And I feel that doesn't quite do it for me. Laksa Sarawak has that.
Too much colonized.
Here we go.
In JB.
What's your favorite?
Well, I'm from Johor, so Laksa Johor.
Right. It's like a team, isn't it?
But I did try Laksa Sarawak, and it's not bad.
Oh, KJ, I wanted to ask. At the very beginning, you mentioned your dad, right? Your late dad, who was such a influence on your international understanding and your knowledge and getting you into politics and things like this. If you think back, what's like one advice that he gave you or one inspiration that he gave you that stuck with you?
He passed away when I was 16 from cancer. And towards the end...
I thought you were like spicy.
No. Towards the end, cancer patients, you have to sedate them because they're going through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
So before he was sedated, because I remember it was 3 months before my GCSEs. And I know one of the last things he told me, and I laugh at this because it was funny. Before he was sedated and he couldn't speak anymore, he called me and he said, your exams are coming soon. And you spend 80% of your time playing sports and 20% of your time studying. Do you think you could just swap it around for a bit?
Yeah.
And that was it.
Really? Even then, he's still the Asian parent. Like, you better pass.
Yeah. And he passed away before my GCSEs, and it was a bit sad because I got all A's and I couldn't show him.
Yeah, sure, he's proud, right?
Yeah. And how about from your late father-in-law?
one thing that I think learned from him, which is very, very difficult to actually practice, is that he bore no grudges. And in politics, it's difficult because, a lot of people do you wrong.
Yeah,
Of course,
And this is a world with sharp elbows, right? People are trying to get ahead. And it's hard not to take things personally. And he went through, tremendous ups and downs in his career. In government, he was sacked from cabinet. He was out for a while, but he bore no grudges. And it takes a big person to be able to do that. And I find that I need to try to practice that.
How's it going so far?
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, but you have to really manage your feelings, your emotions, especially when you're confronted by the person that you feel has wronged you or done something that has affected you personally. To just smile and not show a trace of anger or displeasure.
Shall we move on to dessert?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
we're done with sambal.
I think that's great,
I
man.
will admit that the last one was a bit challenging.
Yeah, my eyes are watering. Like it was beautiful comments, but it's more from the sambal that my eyes are watering. Oh man.
Do we eat? What is this? With the sambal or not?
So KJ, do you have any upcoming projects? Like what's going on in your life? I mean, aside from joining UMNO.
KS, Keluar Sekejap, our brand. We've branched out into other things now.
Oh.
We have other podcasts. So I mentioned I run the history podcast. Sejarah Kita. Cheryl started a new podcast about technology. But two relatively new things which we've started and which we are excited about. One is we've gone into selling stuff. So we have not just merch. So we're selling toiletries now.
Toiletries?
So that's under KSX. So we sell perfume. We sell
From other brands, but not your brand.
This is our brand.
Oh, your brand.
So we decided that we've been working together with brands like you guys, obviously Jaya Grocer today, and then we said, why don't we sell our own stuff as opposed to other people's stuff? So men's grooming line basically. That's KSX, and recently we just launched our English language app, Kelas Sekejap.
Kelas Sekejap.
Kelas Sekejap. Yeah. So Kelas Sekejap is our English language app. It's different from other apps that people use to learn languages because this is largely you use it by speaking. You learn by speaking. So the app is run through an AI, through a machine learning tool that basically has taken Cheryl and my voice, and basically we as in our avatars or our online presence, we speak with you, and we try to help you improve your English.
And you correct that if they...
Correct.
That's
right.
That's cool.
That's good, yeah. And that's for Malay speakers, is it?
That's for any speaker because the AI is designed to help you learn whether you're a Malay native speaker, whether you're a Chinese native speaker.
Is it launched?
It's launched already. It's launched already. Kelas Sekejap. And so once we built AI already, you can now teach any language. So we've done English. After this, we're going to go into maybe Mandarin, Espanol, see.
That's cool. That's nice. I don't know of any other.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. Well,
You should.
Yeah, my English is terrible, right? Yeah, it's awful. Yeah. Anyway, I think that wraps things up, right?
Yeah.
So, KJ,
Great.
thanks so much for coming in. I see you really polished off your Nasi Lemak as well. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks for the Nasi Lemak and the sambal, guys. And thanks for the chat.
I want to say thanks also to Jaya Grocer for providing us with the sambal, the chicken, and the ice cream, the tissue, and everything else.
Yeah. And what did you say earlier about roti canai?
Yeah, roti canai.
Well, you should try a dabi, frozen roti canai and paratha with curry chicken. Or chicken curry.
Yeah, chicken curry.
Whatever you want. Chicken curry, curry chicken. Also can.
And also thank you to KJ. Woo!
Yeah, thank you, KJ.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And thank you to you for watching. We've, of course, got more episodes coming, so don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all of the above.
See you in the next one.